So what you did here is definition, turning the program around. This is everything it's supposed to be. How do you get everybody to buy into your system and really believe the way you believe? And what in your past let you know that you was going to be able to turn this around like this?
To be honest, my biggest plus is being real, meaning I'm no different than them. I'm from their same struggle. When you from a struggle and you bring people around you and y'all come up, the come up is together. That's why you used to witness us pointing at that wall when it was blank. There was no championships. I'm visualizing something that I wanted them to see with me. And how do you want to be remembered? Everywhere I go, I always ask my team, how do you want to be remembered? When I was at McClymonds, I won the first, 2001 was the first Silver Bowl championship in the playoff format that they have now. I won 3 of those, which now they're back-to-back champions all the time. When I was at Berkeley High, that was the first time they went to the second round in the regional playoffs in the NCS. And now the same thing here. Hadn't been a championship team. Couldn't nobody even give me an answer. So I said, well, you know what? We're going to just create one. So we're going to create our own history. I'm not a Contra Costa alumni until I came here myself as a student, which a lot of people don't know. I went here, I transferred my units from Cal State East Bay and came here as a student for a full year and I wasn't the coach. I was still working at Berkeley High. So I seen the ins and outs. Special thanks to Carolyn Hodge for investing in me and giving me a vision and a focus as a student and believing in me because it was tough. So I said, if I can get it done in the classroom, you can get it done in the classroom. McKinley Williams, which was the president, he gave me my opportunity, him and John Wade. And they said they wanted to not only win games, they wanted to make sure guys graduate. That was the biggest thing they wanted. And I said, well, we're going to do both. We're going to make sure they graduate and win games. So if you can win the games and you can get these guys to the next level, then that, to me, that feeds into it. They fed into it. So that was my biggest thing I knew I brought. Prior to me getting here, I had over 100 Division I players in high school. From 2000 to 2009, there was no other high school coach, including coaches from De La Salle, which I have mad respect for, had put more young men in college than me. So if I took that format and that idea and brought it here, which is the whole purpose of people, I would hope you're going to junior college to go to another level.
Right.
So when they invested in seeing that, it made it that much more easier for them to just buy in. And once they got the buy-in, it just took care of itself.
Now you got this program moving up into a new division. You've explained to me the process, but for the people that don't know how it went, you guys moving down to moving up, can you explain that real quick?
Well, when I first took over the program, when I first came in, it was 3 tiers. It was an A tier, a B tier, and a C tier. And the way they divide it up is normally by size and competitiveness, as far as making sure everyone's competitive. San Francisco City, prime example, was an A team. The B teams were DVC, LMC was a B team at the time. We were a C team with Shasta, Yuba, Redwood, some of the smaller teams. Sac City was a B. So we hadn't won any A, B, C's or anything. So my first year we won 4 games. And in winning them 4 games, we were an extra point away from winning my first championship. We lost to Solano, which ended up winning back-to-back championships, and they team folded. But it inspired me. Like in my first year, we almost won it. So we went 4-6, then we went 6-4, and we just got that taste of winning. So once they moved us, they cut the ABCs. Last year they had it was in 2012. We was a C, and we beat De Anza College right here, which was an A. They tied in the league that year with Butte and San Francisco City. It was the first time in the history of the 3-tier that a C beat an A. So we beat De Anza, which said a lot because they were tied with San Francisco. So the coach teased me. He was like, he used to say, I don't know if you probably can bleep it. He used to say, C team my ass. You should be playing with the big boys. So the way it works, at the end of every 2 years, there's movement. You can move up or you can move down. So after that year, they dissolved the ABC and came with a Division I and Division II. So that's when it went from the Bay Valley Conference to the to the Pac-7. So once we got into Pac-7, after winning 2 Bay Valley Conference championships, by the way, first one was in 12, like I said, we end up moving into the Pac-7. So once we got to the Pac-7, we wanted to make history again and being the first champs, which we did. My first year, that first year we went 10-1 and had several Division I players. So we established ourselves as the top of the Division II teams. Then last year we were co-champions, but on percentage points, even though Shasta beat us based on percentage points, we had a higher ranking than them. So for the 2 years in the Pac-7, we were the top ranked team. So with one of those ones, which was Foothill, they wanted movement to move down. So the 2-year cycle was up. So they said someone's going to move up, someone's going to move down. So they have this vote. Now, who's a part of this vote? We already talked about this. It's a whole political thing, but it's normally head coaches and athletic directors. Well, some of the head coaches in voting just so happen to be ADs. So there was a lot of lobbying and hidden agendas. So there's 3 different leagues for the ones, and we happen to be in the Base 6, which is the juggernaut. They like the SEC of junior college football. So we didn't mind moving up, but there's the Valley Conference, and I can't think of the other one. There's another. It's the Valley, the Base 6, and there's one more.
The Sacramento one, right?
But that's the Valley. No. NorCal.
Right.
NorCal, that's Sacramento, Butte, American River, and all them.
Right.
So you have an option to be in one of those 3. There were 2 local schools, which were Chabot and Laney. They're in the Valley Conference, which I found to be how you in Oakland and you're in Hayward, but you're in the Valley Conference, which is fine. You know what? Somebody got to be in it. So once the vote went, my thing was, and I said on camera, I asked, well, whatever conference Laney College is in, that's the conference I want to be in. If they're in the Valley, put us in the Valley. If they're in the Base 6, put us in because I felt it would create the rivalry and it would give us a chance to become conference champs with Laney or even Chabot, but preferably Laney because that brings back that old school rivalry. Well, due to the voting and the politics, Laney and Chabot were allowed to stay in the Valley. We skipped past all 2 of those conferences and were put in the Base 6 as the bottom tier team, which it is what it is now. We don't back down from anybody, but it was very political and very interesting to some of the coaches. And shout out to Coach Wagner from Santa Rosa, which has greeted me, Coach Owens from San Mateo, which has greeted me, gave me love. Them gentlemen has greeted us into the conference, and Coach Thompson from Shasta and Coach Hull from Yuba, all those guys is wishing me well as we take on this task. So we up for it now. You know, we don't have the resources and some of the facilities that those teams have, but it is what it is. We're going to play the game.
Well, now that is a reality, what did you see last week in the preseason game to let you know this team is really ready to take on the challenge?
Well, I think the numbers that we have up front on the defensive line especially gives us something to feel good about. We have the best quarterback to me in junior college, you know, in the country, not only in the state. Cameron Burson he's phenomenal, you know, and we got Harris Ross, another one of the best players in the state of California, you know. So we got some pieces that go with those guys. We got some things that I think once we put it all together in jail, we should be fine. I'm a little concerned about the youth on our O-line, you know, it's real young.
But they protected him good.
They did a good job. So we got some athletes that if we get the ball in their hands, they can make plays. So we just going to play the schedule. You know, the schedule is what it is. We got a tough opener with Sequoias. You know, they're predominantly a big athletic team. You know, they haven't had the greatest record recently, but they're a pretty athletic, physical team. So with them on the road, and then we got Sac City here next week, them first 2 games is going to be a good test for us.
And what do you expect the outcome? Do you think this game is going to be tight, or what have you seen from the film on Sequoias?
I've seen some guys running around being athletic on defense. I've seen a lot of athletes in the perimeter. They got a new quarterback, they're state champion or state finalists every year in track, so they're gonna have athletes, you know, on their team. So I just think it's a good way to get us going. The only thing that worries me a little bit, we're traveling into the unknown. You know, with Sequoias, you know, a lot of these guys prior to this year, never even heard of the school. So this will be their first trip. We got a 2 o'clock and afternoon game, which was 1. Thank you to Coach Pankey for at least pushing it back to 2. but you know it's going to be pretty hot. The elements could be a factor, so we feel good about our depth to be able to compete in the elements.
The last time we talked, I told you I was really skeptical about your wide receiving core, but then after last week, it seems like it's a lot of depth there and a lot of hidden talent on that side of the ball.
The wide receiver core and the D line are the two deepest positions on our team. With real quality depth. Also our safeties. Those are the three positions where you can kind of pick who you want and you can go in and the level doesn't fall off. Those are strengths, you know. We have, and then like I said, quarterback. Even with Lewis backing up Cameron, he came in and did. We even had a freshman come in, Ronald Ragland. He was a quarterback.
2 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns. He's an all-league player, Fremont High School in Oakland, so he gives us that versatility. He can play offense and defense. So those are the positions that we feel real good about, and we just got to continue to improve and get better, you know.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it. Y'all stay tuned, man. You got to follow us the whole season. We're going to surprise some people. They think they setting us up. We ain't scared. We ain't scared of nobody. We'll see. Results be next week.